Hey, so right now I'm actually in front of the Mozarthaus here in Vienna, which was before it was called the Mozarthaus, it was called the Figarohaus because this is the place where he composed the Marriage of Figaro. In this place, Mozart lived here. He lived there. What? So I basically just walked around where Mozart lived for about 2.5 years. It's pretty cool. And what was also cool for me, at least, was when I was walking through, they talked about, his Requiem, and they talked about Salieri, and talked about the rumor about him poisoning Mozart, but they did call it a rumor. They didn't say, obviously. And they talked about how at the end of his life he talked about his symptoms and of swelling in the joints and all that jazz. So it was cool, I guess, to see the stuff that I had researched being talked about. I kind of wish I could pass along my paper and be like, hey, you guys should read this and maybe update your information a little bit. Anyway, other than that, it was amazing, and I wish I could just kind of stay in there forever, because it was just very surreal experience to know. Because, okay, so on the third floor it basically just talks about life, or I guess kind of the music. No, second floor was music in Vienna at the time, or what they called Mozart's musical world. So I guess the third floor was where they talked about more of the music scene in Vienna at that point in time, and then the second floor was Mozart's specific musical world. They focused a lot on his operas, which is what everybody does. But that's because their operas are dramatic, and So something else that I found out while I was in the Mozarthaus was that Mozart owned birds, and one of the birds that he had, I forget exactly which, it was one of his piano concertos. The bird learned and could sing the first couple lines of the piano concerto, which is really cool. And then they also showed that he had a canary that he actually released a few hours before his death. Just let it go. He did not die here. This was just where he was for a period of time. And so I was not allowed to take any photo or video inside, although I saw someone that did, and I wanted to be like, no, bad, disrespectful. But you can only control what you do, right? So I didn't say anything, hoping that maybe he got caught by one of the little guards, because I accidentally leaned on something I wasn't supposed to lean on, and I got told otherwise. So, but such is life. Anyway, so tomorrow I will be heading to Salzburg. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be beautiful, and hopefully we'll see some other Mozartine things. Something that I didn't get to show you guys on my first full day here was I went to St. Stephen's Cathedral and climbed this massive tower. So I want to show you guys this tower and show you more of what the cathedral looks like. Here is the huge tower that didn't have an elevator, just a bunch of spirally stairs. Look at that. And I also forgot to bring water that day. Bad idea. If you're going to come to Vienna and climb to the top of this cathedral, then you got to bring water. I mean, it was worth it once we got to the top, but let me tell you, my legs were shaking. When we came back down, I told my host, I said, we got to sit for a bit because I cannot walk anymore. And she left off with the candle, and she showed me the way. There was voices down there, thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Plenty of rooms at the Hotel California. So I'm walking back home now. I wanted to show you guys kind of what the suburbs of Vienna look like, since you've seen so far the hustle and bustle of the inner city and the heart of the town. And so I just wanted to show maybe you can see in the background just more of what the suburbs look like. Much quieter. All of the houses are really neat. Some have a bit more of a modern twist, and some have been around for a while. My host says that she loves this area because it's so green. There's so many trees and everything, and I'd have to agree that, you know, that's a good reason to move somewhere, because it's beautiful, obviously. Also, something else I learned about Mozart today that I didn't already know from my research slash just music history classes is that he was a gambler, and that's part of why, if you watched my Mozart Mania trilogy, you know that he wasn't the richest of men, and he had a lot of debt, and turns out a lot of that came from gambling. Oh, bright. Check it. Oh, you can see the shadow. But yeah, turns out a lot of that came from gambling. So don't gamble, kids. You lose your money. And if you get addicted... No, I'm not going to go there. That's... Too many people have already talked to you about that, right? Right. So I gotta say I'm pretty happy I actually found my way back, because yesterday I did all the public transit and everything for the first time by myself and did not get off at the right stop and got lost. But luckily my host just came and said, "Stay where you are and I'll come get you," and she did. But today I finally I did make it back, so now I know what I'm doing, and you live, you learn.